What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting Anchor on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So download Anchor, the app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And I'm a veteran, so let's hear some more military cadences. What's up, family? Here we are, finding ourselves back together again after a super freaking fast weekend. So this weekend I went and checked out the movie Violent Night because there's literally nothing else to watch. But it was actually really good. I was shocked because I hate Christmas movies, but it was good. It is starring, this guy's name again, David Harbour. He was in like Stranger Things, and John Leguizamo, Alex Hassel. It was good. Beverly D'Angelo, straight up action pack. The actors, David Harbour carried the whole movie. He was awesome in it. It was straight action. If your kids don't like gore, I would not recommend. It is very gory. Yes, I repeat, Santa is kicking some aspirin in this movie. So if you don't like gore and you don't like blood, don't go see this movie. But if you like that and you love Christmas, go see it. It was pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, for what's out there, I liked it. Let's get into these NFL scores. So the Bills beat the Patriots 24-10. The Packers beat the Bears 28-19. The Steelers beat the Falcons 19-16. The Vikings beat the Jets 27-22. The Lions beat the Jaguars 40-17. The Eagles beat the Titans 35-10. The Browns beat the Texans 27-14. The Commanders and Giants tied. The Ravens beat the Broncos by 1 point. Poor Russell, he still can't get a win. The 49ers beat the Dolphins 33-17. The Seahawks beat the Rams 27-23. The Raiders beat the Chargers 27-20. The Bengals beat the Chiefs 27-24. The Cowboys demolished the Colts 54-19. And then tonight the Saints and the Bucks play. Speaking of Cleveland Brown, Deshaun Watson is back. He had his game showing. 10 of his victims showed up to the game. He was met with boos and all that stuff like that, but he kept his composure. He had an 11-game suspension, but he won, so he's back. They played the Texans. It's kind of weird because, one, that's his old team. Two, the Texans are the worst team in the NFL right now. So, yeah, 27-14 win. We'll see what he does for the season. It's been almost 2 years since he played. His contract with the Browns is $230 million fully guaranteed. He had 24 victims all in all. The last victim came up as the season started, and the NFL said that he will continue, his status will remain unchanged. So there was 26 civil lawsuits against him for alleged sexual misconduct. 2 of those lawsuits still remain out of those. So, yeah, Deshaun is 27 years old. People have mixed reviews. Some people feel like it was like a setup. Some people feel like, I'm just like, I'm just like, Deshaun, 26 cases. Like, dude, I hope he gets it together. What else is going on? There was a lot of little things that went on this weekend. In Texas, a little girl fell victim to a FedEx driver, which is a horrible story. Let's see here. I thought I had it pre-recorded, but it may not. So in Texas, Athena is her name. Let's see. Bringing it up so I can. So yeah, she was only 7 years old. So she was a driver working for FedEx, was arrested, charged Friday in kidnapping and killing of a 7-year-old girl, had disappeared from her home's driveway in Texas earlier this week. Police says Athena Strand's body was recovered Friday evening. Wise County Sheriff said at the news station, "It hurts our hearts to know that this child died. It's one of the toughest investigations that I've been involved in, and anytime there's a child that dies, it just hits you in the heart." Athena was reported missing on Wednesday, and authorities launched a search for her, and they had believed the young girl was killed within an hour of her kidnapping from her family's driveway, which is 200 yards from her home. Tanner Lynn Horner, who is 31, who has been held on capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. His bond is set at $1.5 million. It's unclear if he had an attorney, but that he was identified as authorities who was the contract driver for FedEx, who was allegedly making a delivery during the time she disappeared. Earlier Friday, police say they received a tip that helped them determine it was him. With the holiday season and everything, and all these drivers, and I know Amazon for sure is delivering like round the clock right now. Please be careful with your kids outside, like these contractors, they're not vetted like we think. So just be careful. It's very sad and very dangerous, and my condolences go out to that family. A Texas woman who was kidnapped as a baby at 51 was reunited with her family after a DNA test tracked her down. So that is some good news. This was a crazy case here. This man in Ohio was found guilty after a family massacre. An Ohio man was accused of helping his family plan and carry out and cover up killing of 8 family members, and he was found guilty of murder. Jury convicted George Wagner IV on Wednesday afternoon on multiple counts of aggravated murder and other charges related to conspiracy, attempts to cover up evidence in 2016 for the massacre of the Rodin family. Wagner, who is not accused of shooting anyone, testified during the trial that he was unaware of his family's deadly plans. Early in the trial, a judge decided Wagner would not face the death penalty upon a conviction as part of the agreement between the prosecutors and 2 other members of Wagner's family who agreed to testify truthfully against him. Prosecutors said Wagner and his family plotted to kill the Rhodes over a custody dispute involving Wagner's brother, Edward J. Wagner, and one of the victims, Hannah Rodin, who shared a toddler daughter. In addition to Hannah Rodin, 19, the victims were her parents, Christopher Rodin, Dana Rodin, 37, her brothers, 20-year-old Clarence, Frankie, 16-year-old Christopher, Clarence's fiance, Hannah, who's only 20, Kenneth Rodin, 44, and a cousin, Gary, 38. After the verdict, members of the Rodin family gathered outside the courthouse and wept, thanking the jury for giving them a little bit of peace years after their loved ones were killed. It should have never happened, a family member Tony Rodin said. Many members of the Rodin family sat through the emotional trial. Tony Rodin said they have been able to get through the tragedy with family support. He called Geneva Rodin the rock of the family. She's the one that got us through this. Both Wagner brothers, as well as their parents, Angela, Billy, were charged in the killings. Angela Wagner pleaded guilty to a role in helping to plan the killings in exchange for a 30-year sentence. These murders should have never happened, prosecutors say. We're here because 8 innocent victims were slaughtered, most of them in their sleep. This case is just crazy. Like, you would never even believe that people would go to this extreme. I mean, we get it all the time, but it's just wild. It's just wild that they unalived all these people over a custody case. It's just, I just can't even fathom it, but yeah. Let's see what else is going on. So this 23-year-old influencer who desperately wanted a Brazilian butt lift, she says she woke up covered in blood. So Rachel Velasco remembers walking to the emergency room at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles last year, screaming and covered in blood. At 3 a.m., the 23-year-old said she was in an indescribable agony at the sight of surgery performed on her just hours earlier. "I've never been in so much pain. I feel like I'm dying," the influencer said in the video she took on her way to the hospital, which she later shared on NBC News. "I can barely speak." So she got a Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, for more than a year. BBLs, which tighten the waist and plump up the buttocks, have become increasingly appealing to influencers like Velasco, who over 11,600 followers and an OnlyFans account. Velasco markets her sexy pictures on Instagram and hopes that growing account will result in more paying customers. She said she wanted to watch popular aesthetic of many celebrities like the Kardashians who build business and received acclaim in part of their sumptuous curves. In 2019, International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery found that BBL was the fastest growing cosmetic surgery worldwide. But Velasco's story, which describes to NBC in detail, shows how pressures of beauty expectations online push people to try and alter their bodies. Velasco desperately wanted a BBL, which she thought would help her professionally and garner more attention. The surgery involves cutting into and taking fat from one area of the patient's body and injecting into the buttocks. If the fat accidentally enters one large blood vessel found in that region, a clot can block the blood flow of the part of the lung, causing a lethal pulmonary embolism. BBLs have the highest mortality rate out of all cosmetic procedures. You can end up with lifelong heart issues, bumpy, misshaping behinds, all the above. So Velasco, let's see what happened to her. She said that her surgeon committed repeated negligence acts in her care and her treatment. None involved BBLs, but it allowed her to continue performing surgeries on patients. It's not required to disclose her. So I guess her surgeon was on probation. And let me see how she got botched, because the story kind of drags on and on and on and on. So she went to a spa. The spa had like 80,000 followers. It's called the 7Q Spa. And let's see, very long story. The worst pain I felt in my entire life. Blah, 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 blah. So she wasn't unconscious while getting it done. And they were moving around large volumes of fat. And then her brother drove her to the doctor. And then they had put her on some laughing gas, is what they kept her on. But she was fully awake. She paid $9,100 for the surgery. She said after surgery she felt great. She couldn't feel her stitches at all. She had said she was put in medical garment resembling a leotard with Tylenol and codeine. And then they said they'll see her tomorrow. She got home, she fell asleep. And then she had the worst pain in her life. She started reading about experiences. I started getting super paranoid. And she begged her brother to drive her to the emergency room. Velasco said doctors calmed her down. Her hospital showed that her took her urine test and her blood. And she was literally so pissed at the hospital. She was like, "Why did you go there? I told you to call me," because I had her personal number. Oaks said the doctor got mad that she went to the doctor. It left a 4-inch pucker scar on her stomach, which she says hasn't gone away. And she didn't feel any more pain. And then she asked the lady to show her accreditations, and the lady did not want to. And where is this lady's story? Because now y'all about to make me lose interest in this whole freaking thing. This is like the longest story ever. Pretty much she got botched. Her stomach lipo part pretty much exploded open. Great. The release of a 911 call that may have saved the lives of pilot and passenger after a small plane was flying crashed into a high voltage transmission over a tower in Maryland, which revealed some of the circumstances. A woman who claimed to be related to former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, she got into a fight with 6 deputies on the Spirit Airlines on Thanksgiving. She bit one of them, breaking the skin. And she said, "Do you know who my uncle is? He's friends with Trump." I can't believe she was saying that because I didn't think they were still friends because Chris Christie is not a part of Trump anymore. This is a sad story out of Connecticut. Police arrested a man that was accused of murdering his 11-month-old daughter. After a 2-week-long manhunt, officials arrested Christopher Francisquini, 31, in Waterbury, Connecticut on Friday afternoon, a city about 6 miles from. She was found dead of neck compressions and stab wounds and dismembered while house sick. After citizens who believe they recognized him at a bus stop called the police at his sighting, they found him. He's been held on a $5 million bond. It's not immediately clear whether the person called the tip on Friday will receive reward money. I guess they have put out reward money for him. They're going to continue to carry with them the case. His capture is a clear example of what can be accomplished when the community works together. He had an extensive criminal history. He had been in trouble for things before. Camilla's biological mother were in a dispute in Waterbury on the morning of the alleged murder, and that authorities believe Camilla was killed before the dispute. He also said earlier in the investigation that police arrived at the grisly scene of the alleged murder after someone in the house called 911 to report she was dead. Francisquino, who McAllister has said has an extensive criminal history, was out on special parole when he is alleged to have committed the crime, and he was wearing a court-ordered tracking device. He is believed to cut off that device on the day of the murder. Court records show that Francisquini was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 10 years special parole on the first-degree felony assault charge in 2013. So sad. So sad. I just, when you can harm your own child, you do not need to be back on the streets. Like, there's literally no rehabilitation for that, in my opinion. Taylor Swift fans are suing Ticketmaster on those expensive tickets, which is not shocking at all. Another manhunt was going on in Florida for a man accused of killing an elderly couple in Massachusetts. See what else is going on. There's so much crap that goes on. So this story is wild. There was supposed to be a drag queen story time. It was like a parade or something in Columbus, Ohio, and it ended up getting canceled. The host of a drag queen story hour style event for children in Columbus, Ohio on Saturday pulled the plug because of what they described as intimidating presence of white ring demonstrators. The scheduled holiday-themed Holly Drag story time at the First Unitarian Church in Columbus, which runs a K-5 institution behind the event, was canceled at the last minute on Saturday morning. The guys, they were like dressed in their little militia outfits and weapons and all, and they ended up shutting it down. They are not pro drag queen events. Let's see what else is going on, guys, before we get into our own story time. Keke Palmer announced she was pregnant on Saturday Night Live, which I've been knowing this girl was pregnant for 3 months. You can always tell. I knew it. But congratulations to her. She was in Aquila the Bee and a lot of other movies. She's been acting since a little kid. Other than that, guys, I'm going to jump into our story time. Got plenty of those. This news was a drag a little bit, especially that BBL story. But let's get into this story time. about performative acting. Balenciaga drops his $25 million lawsuit against the producers of the controversial campaign. They had filed they supposedly, air quotes, filed a lawsuit on Friday, and it's dropping the suit against the producers of a recently widely maligned ad campaign. The fashion house filed the suit a week earlier against a production company and set designer after its spring 2023 campaign included documents from Supreme Court case about child pornography. The brand also faced backlash for a separate campaign that showed children holding teddy bears in bondage outfits. Balenciaga sued production outfit North 6 and set designer Nicholas Des Jamars after one ad was featured some background desk items and fake legal records from a pop house, but wound up showing a real SCOTUS ruling. Reps from the North 6 and Des Jardins denied that they were responsible, and there was also an outcry from fashion pros saying the party shouldn't be blamed for a company's ads. Which I agree, Balenciaga knew, but that's why they're dropping their little lawsuit. That was all like a performative thing. Here's their thing again. We sincerely apologize. Our plush bear should not have been featured with children in this campaign. We have immediately removed the campaign from all platforms. Celeb collaborators, including Kim Kardashian, also chided the brand publicly over its poor judgment. On Friday, Balenciaga said it was ceasing the litigation to a social media statement. So y'all already knew they were gonna, it was all performative. Like, they wouldn't even had a leg to stand up in court. They're just trying to make you guys feel good about them again, and as well as Kimmy Cakes. I haven't seen her. She was in Miami yesterday. She's in LA today. This lady is running ragged. Hope she's taking all her vitamins because she's gonna need them. We'll see what they get away with and how long before you guys forget about this whole thing. Like, obviously. So I don't know how, and I don't know for how long, but Kanye is back on Instagram. And he posted a message saying, "Am I the only one who thinks Elon could be half Chinese? Have you ever seen pics of him as a child? Take a Chinese genius and mate them with a South African supermodel, and we have an Elon." I say an Elon because they probably made 10 to 30 Elons, and he's the first genetic hybrid that stuck well. Let's not forget about Obama. I'm sorry for using curse words in church, but I don't have another word for Obama yet. Ye is 24. Let's unify and find out. He said on Jay-Z's birthday, future president of the United States, Ye uses Mark Zuckerberg's platform to incite a mass investigation of Elon Musk's childhood photos in the midst of Balenciaga Gate. I call this theory of everything. Problem solved. Praise God. Interesting take. Yeah. Elon, he could be a clone. I mean, come on. He could definitely be a clone. And so can Obama. I mean, this world is so freaking crazy. But we'll see how long Kanye lasts on Instagram this time. So Kim Kardashian had to hop in this photo with Jalen Ramsey today. I hope he is not her next victim. But he's just trying to take some pictures with the kids, and there she goes, flying in. It's like, Kim, why are you in the photo with the kids? Like, why? But I ain't mad at her. I guess she's on to either her next victim or what. It's kind of strange if it's just a kid photo and she's the only parent in there. But what do I know? I know Kim. She never misses a great photo opportunity. What do y'all think?
Wife 3 years ago. She agreed to forgive me if we opened the marriage, but now I live in agony every day. That was the title. So basically, my wife, 39, found out that I, 41, had been hooking up with a woman I met online who lived 2 hours away. When the woman visited, we checked into a hotel. This went on for 3 months, and we had met a handful of times when my wife called us. She was waiting in the hotel lobby and saw us coming down from the room. She left me the next day. We separated for 8 months, and they were terrible on all of us, especially the kids.
They have kids?
Yeah, they got 3 kids.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife thought that since our sex life wasn't enough for me, and that she was sure I would cheat on her again, we might as well open the marriage.
Okay.
I told her no because I've learned my mistake, but she wouldn't waver. I relented. We decided not to tell each other that whenever they slept with somebody, they're not going to say when, where, and with whom. Now, over 2 years later, this is the sad part. We are back to normal on the outside. On the inside, I'm dying a little each day. Every time I see her happy, I wonder if this is just her old bubbly self or if she was thinking of somebody else. She is a very beautiful woman, and I'm sure she has no problems finding men who want her. Whenever she takes a shower after coming home, whenever she rejects my advances, I think that she has been with someone, and that kills me. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I have tried to discuss closing the marriage again, but she shuts these attempts very quickly with a divorce card. Before all this happened, we had amazing sex several times a week. But now, we have probably done it 4 or 5 times these past 3 years. She demands I use protection, and she refuses to let me eat her or make her cum in any way. I stopped asking because the sex is painfully bad now. I haven't slept with...
What is that? Whoa, okay.
I haven't
Painfully bad?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay.
I haven't slept with anybody else because the look on my wife's face in that lobby still makes me sick with guilt. I don't know how much I can take. I love my wife and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Would she ever stop punishing me? Have you ever forgiven a cheating spouse and stopped punishing them? What's going on in her head?
So that is a weird, interesting story. That marriage needs to end. It's a sick story. You're almost shackled to each other at this point. Like, why are you staying in it? Like, it's purgatory. I don't know unless it's financial benefits, but even that is not worth it. Like, dude, get a group and get a divorce. Like, she obviously is pissed at what you did, but it's still no reason to stay together. Let's get into some Puff Daddy. You know, there's always these rumors swirling about him being on the down low. Let's hear somebody's account of Puffy and a butt plug.
Atlanta. And this story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping. Right, he's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So as he going, I'm just looking at the places where he picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side, and then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there, and it said butt plugs. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. Later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. Then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? And he said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff. They're in the room. They busy. They don't want to be bothered.
Not Ja Rule. It's murder. Not Ja Rule. Puffy, I didn't hurt. It's just, it's so many stories out there about Puffy and him possibly unaliving his baby mama because she walked in or she has a tape of him, and then somebody said that Christopher Williams was giving him a blowjob, and I can't with Puffy. I really can't. It's too many rumors, but women continue to date him. Some women like bi men. I don't know. Is the money really that good? I don't know. I can't. Let's go to the next one. The Power Rangers star Jason David Frank's wife opens up about how her husband passed away. His death comes as much of a shock to me as anyone else, his wife said. Tammy Frank, the wife of Power Rangers star Jason David Frank, has confirmed that her husband passed away due to taking his own life. My name is Tammy Frank, and my husband was Jason David Frank, who tragically lost his wife to his own unalivement. While Jason was a well-known name to some, we lived a very normal life with ups and downs just like anyone else. Jason David Frank was known to many fans for his role as Tommy Oliver, the original Green Power Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV series. He died at the age of 49 last month, his manager Justine Hunt said in a statement at the time. Speaking to People, Tammy Frank said she had been shocked and saddened to see the speculation about her husband's death in the media. I love my husband and we were trying to work through our problems. His death comes as such a shock to me as anyone else, she said. The truth is, I had no idea what he was thinking, that he was thinking of ending things. Yes, he has struggled with mental health issues and depression before, but I could never predict that would happen that night. It's really sad because, you know, a lot of people think that they're lonely. Like, you can be lonely in marriage too. You know, this isn't stressed enough. A lot of people think, oh, I have nobody, I have no love. You can be married and alone too. And I think it's really sad that I feel for people like that because you can't really know what your spouse is thinking sometimes. And I couldn't even imagine if my husband was, you know, feeling down. You know, I try to stay in touch with my husband as much as I can, but you just never know. So my condolences, and to anybody that's thinking like you're alone, whether married or not, married people are just as lonely sometimes, and this is just another example of that. Stay safe, y'all. Know that the holiday season is upon us. Don't let just the things of this outside world, and don't let your mind get the best of you. Try to do something positive. You know, happiness doesn't come, you know, you have to make it happy. You have to live on purpose. I know that seems corny, but it's so true. You can't just, everybody doesn't just wake up and be like, it's such a great day today. Like, sometimes you have to force yourself just to do things. And I know that it's not a popular opinion because everybody likes to, you know, in my opinion, almost stay in depression, not on purpose, but it's easy to stay in depression. I know it's normal and it's talked about a lot, but you know, I try to force myself to get up even when I don't feel like it. Just stay safe out there, y'all. Married, unmarried, family, no family, we all struggle mentally. So stay safe, sending my blessings and love your way.
This rabbit hole that y'all got me going down is insane. So you know I had to go do my own investigation about Nicole Kidman and her daddy. And let me tell you, this story is thick. So in September 2014, Nicole Kidman's father passed away. And shortly after, there was a release of allegations stating, that he was a part of a child sex trafficking ring. And that he used to set up hunting sessions for the elites with children. What I find very interesting about this is how the reason why they supposedly have these sex trafficking rings and for these children is because they collect what's called adrenochrome. And just so happens that Nicole Kidman's pops was a psychologist. Coincidence? I think not. Recently, we had Keith Urban at the arena that I work at. He was doing a concert, and his stage was filled with satanic symbolism. And I thought to myself, dang, that's kind of weird. Keith Urban, country singer, never would have guessed. Then I find out he's married to, you guessed it, Nicole Kidman. It all made sense.
So that is a weird story, and it was weird the fact that, you know, although we were focused on Kimmy Cakes, Keith Urban had his little issues too, y'all. I still got a lot of things, but I'm gonna leave you guys with this. It's a healing songs from a Native American, and I'm trying to just exude healing to you guys all month. So let's play this, and then I'll come back tomorrow with the rest of these, because, you know, It's always some crazy stuff going on. But let's hear this hearing song.
Hey,
So I don't know how I found myself on the Native American side of TikTok, but I love it there. It's a lot of healing songs and all that, and I'm all about that right now. So you guys stay safe out there, stay encouraged, and I will be back with you tomorrow for some hot topics. Efforts for Family is signing out.